prison slavery. Now, I want to use my time up here to share a little bit of the context of this. This is a dynamic movement that's in dire need of support from the outside. The context is in August 2012 in California, there was an historic agreement by and for prisoners to end racial hostilities between prisoner groups in California. I'm going to quote that agreement from 2012. We can no longer allow the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to use us against each other for their benefit, because the reality is that collectively we are an empowered, mighty force. Now, before the end of 2012, 30,000 people would join that hunger strike in the prisons in California. In 2015, undocumented immigrant prisoners, and primarily women, in Pennsylvania and Texas, multiple facilities in both those states initiated work strikes and hunger strikes demanding their freedom and the freedom of their families, also imprisoned. And that brings us to 2016. This was a nationally coordinated labor strike by prisoners who, I'll go ahead and quote the Free Alabama movement, who's been one of the driving forces behind organizing it. Remember, I'm quoting, "We are working against a $500 billion system that is controlled by businessmen and women who are the modern-day slave profiteers. We must organize work stoppages at prisons with economic industries that are operated by slave labor." Now, let me try to convey to you the scope of the September 9th strike. It's hard to follow because there's a mainstream media whiteout. And so the only information we can get is from prisoners who are able to communicate with us through cell phones that they've smuggled in, or have been smuggled in by supporters. No fewer than 50,000 prison slaves were prevented from working during the strike because the level of super exploitation that occurs in these prisons requires so much oppression, such brutal oppression, that it creates the conditions for resistance. And the smallest spark threatens to ignite a flame in the prisons. And when the prison guards see that, they have to shut down the whole prison to prevent it from spreading. Now, they were unsuccessful in preventing it from spreading, but what they did do was pull no less than 50,000 prisoners out of their works to put the prisons on lockdown across the country: California, Alabama, Pennsylvania, Ohio, absolutely. Florida, sure. Comrades, this is a struggle led by consciously anti-racist black prisoners, Latino prisoners, and white supporters, white accomplices, white allies, and prisoners. The level of consciousness is building so rapidly over the past, 4 years. I'm going to quote Che loosely. The apple is so ripe in the prisons right now, and we just have to make it fall. And it's up to us on the outside. I really encourage you to read the Workers' World newspaper, to distribute it, because as far as I'm aware, unless this has changed over the past year, we've got more incarcerated subscribers to the paper than we do on the outside. Read what the prisoners are reading. Write to them. Communicate with them. If you need to know how, if you want to know how to get involved in the prison struggle, contact me. I'm on Facebook. Friend me, Matty Stardust. Email me, whatever. Get to me, and we need to rebuild the prison movement from the outside. Support the Move 9, support Mumia, support the movement to end 21st century prison slavery. Thank you.